These are 6 things to remember in 2023. The first thing is, don't just speak about it, be about it, right? In the book of Esther and Songs of Solomon, it doesn't even mention God's name. So God is not concerned about you inserting his name into things. He cares more about you living right and showing the fruits of the Spirit. I have a verse to back this up. Matthew chapter 15 verse 8. The people draweth nigh to me with their mouth and honoureth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. All right. Number 2, write things down. Use your phone calendar, use a notebook. I've got the same old dusty notebook that I've had for about a year or so, you know, like as a way to save paper. Just buy a little notebook. It doesn't have to be expensive. Make it pretty if you want, you know, but just write things down. You cannot remember everything. We don't want any little Miss Scatterbrain for 2023. So just write things down. 3, wake up earlier. Wake up at 5 a.m. or 30 minutes earlier so that you can have devotion and your quiet time. I've spoken to you about the bedtime struggle, but the reality is, if you want to get a better start on the day, just wake up earlier. Honestly, there's no more science to it. It's really that, like, wake up early and do your thing. Yeah. Become more studious, study the Bible more, read more books, and turn comparison into study. I've spoken about this on the channel before. If you find yourself envying someone or comparing to them, just study that person. Ask them questions. Look at the good that they do and say, okay, I'm going to implement this thing that they do and apply it to my life, right? Okay, follow what works. Pray for logic and common sense. Also, study yourself. What triggers me? What do I like? What do I not like? Where do I need to improve? Study yourself. Trust me, if you put more energy into those type of things, you won't even have time to compare, because you'll be so busy working on yourself that you're not even thinking of, oh, I want to be like this, but you're not even going to be thinking that, right? Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children, right? So God says we're destroyed for lack of knowledge. So pay attention. Recognize when an attack is happening. Pray when you see situations arising in your interpersonal relationships. By the way, check out my video on when you see these things, you know it's the enemy. It's up here on the channel. And choose your battles wisely. The other day, my husband told me of a quote that says, you will win 100% of the battles that you avoid. I thought, wow, like what a concept. Just walk away. And I'm not saying to walk away from everything. Certain situations need to be tackled and dealt with. You know, we're not promoting passive aggression here. I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm forgiven, I'm fine. No, we're not doing that. What we're promoting is 2 adults having a conversation. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I could have done better here. I could have done better there. Yeah, and then you just move on with life, right? Now, 6, depend more on the comforter than comfort food. Many of us think that we have big appetites, but a lot of times we are just comfort eating. Most of the time, when we feel hungry, we really just need to drink water. I'm going to say something extreme to you here as well. And this is for me, this whole right here about the comfort eating, because I've had to work on it, you know. All right, so I'm going to say something extreme. So if you are sensitive, click off. Just click off now. Yeah. All right. So in the West, right? Sorry, I need to breathe, Charlotte. I need to work on my breathing, you know. All right. So basically in the West, a lot of the time when we say we're hungry, we're just peckish. We are just peckish. We're not really hungry. I remember a couple years ago, I saw a picture. I don't know if you've ever heard of a photographer. Oh, I forgot his name. But I'm not going to put the pictures here because they're quite disturbing. But he took a picture of a little girl and the vulture was there right by the girl, waiting for her to basically die to eat her. Yeah. And then there's another picture that he took, if you're sensitive, click off, where a boy had his head in the cow's bum. And I think in that situation, they were so hungry, he was so hungry that he was putting his head into the cow's bum. You know, sometimes you see images of people eating food off the street, or maybe you've even seen that in real life. So when it comes to hunger, if a lot of us are honest, the reason why I'm using that extreme example is to say, a lot of times when we say, oh, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, A lot of times when we're carrying on like that, we're not really hungry. We're actually just peckish and dehydrated. Because if you've never had the desire to eat off the floor because you're that hungry, or eat from the same place as animals, then you've never truly experienced hunger. So it's just something to think of going into the new year. How can I look after my resources more? How can I be more temperate with my appetite? And God can help me in other areas. I understand it's a struggle. I'm known for having a big appetite for many years, right? I just thought I had a big appetite, and then I realized, no, this is comfort eating a lot of the time. So get to what it is. You know, as I said, recognize your triggers. Like with my face, I have a bad habit. Oh, let me pick this. Let me pop this pimple. Let me scratch, right? And then I have to think, oh, if I'm doing this, oh, maybe I'm feeling a little anxious. Why am I feeling anxious? So get to the root of things, because trust me, something that I've seen in myself, and maybe you can relate, is that sometimes you're so out of whack with yourself, you don't even know why you do what you do. You're just doing things and you don't know the root of anything. And for me, if you're anything like me, if you're someone like me, you're in your 30s, you're trying to grow and develop, now's the time to truly study yourself, right? So I say all that to say, depend more on the comforter than comfort food. The last thing here is work on your mindset. It goes in line as well. Suppressing emotions, right? We are not suppressing emotions anymore. If you know that you have issues or baggage, get the help that you know you need. It's 2022. We have moved past seeing getting help with your mental state as a weakness, because, right? If your arm back up right now, you go to the doctor. If you feel, oh, I've got a little feeling in my back, you go to the doctor. But when it comes to mental health, oh man, I'm feeling like, oh no, but you know, just pray, just have faith. And obviously we should have those things, but guess what? There are people trained. So you can find a Christian counselor, look at videos. I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling depressed, or Christian counsel. Whatever it is, take charge of your mental health, right? You know yourself, you know that you're not happy. So stop just living this way. Let's live life more abundantly. Just be honest with yourself. As I said, there's no shame. There's no shame anymore about getting help with your mental health. So please, to everyone watching this, if you recognize that there are issues there, especially if you're married, especially if you've got children that you're raising, because they learn not just what you say but what you do, then let's be the best for them. Let's just be the best for ourselves, because we want to be happy and flourishing and thriving. So let go of any shame and just deal with your issues. Work on also your mind, with regards to your mindset, your view of God, right? The devil has no problem with you believing in God. He has a problem with your perception of God. The Bible says in James chapter 2, verse 19, thou believest that there is one God, thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble. So just believing is not good enough. It's about getting to know God, getting to know who we are in God. It's as simple as the difference between saying that money is evil and the love of money is the root of evil, right? So mindset shifts need to happen. All right then, ladies, so don't forget these things in 2023. I pray that your new year, even now, that your new week, your new day will be prosperous. Start to implement these things from now, and then just get a head start on the new year. I know, like, sometimes we say, oh, can't be bothered with New Year's resolutions, and I get it. But if we start to do things now, we can step into the year. Isn't it lovely when you can look back at the year and say, yeah, man, that year was fruitful? Because you know what, even in trials and tribulations, God is still God, he's still good, and he's still on the throne. When times are going well and we're rich and wealthy and healthy, God is still God and he's still on the throne, and he's right there with you. When you're feeling lonely, when you're feeling isolated, when you're in your feelings, God is still God, he's good, and he's on the throne. All right, enjoy 2023. Bye.